Hello everyone, it's Brad, Miss 1981. So it's pretty late, but I wanted to make this video. I spoke to Mac a few days ago, and he brought up a good idea for a video. Most ant keepers usually keep one type of species slash genus of of ant colonies. So in other words, and I could be getting that terminology incorrectly, but in other words, they'll keep maybe one harvester ant, one honeypot, one carpenter. They tend not to do too many multiple of the same species, but different genus and or subspecies, I guess. Yeah, because I think genus is actually higher than species, but I could be wrong. Feel free to correct me in the comments. I won't be offended. Just be polite. Anyway, so I want to do a video of my talking about my 4 Pogonomyrmex colonies. Those are the commonly referred to as the harvester ants. I keep Pogonomyrmex barbatus, Pogonomyrmex rugosus, Pogonomyrmex occidentalis, and Pogonomyrmex maricopa. And there really are some distinct differences between these colonies for behavior. And that's what I'd like to talk about. For instance, my Pogonomyrmex barbatus is by far and large the largest of the 4. I would say the next size would probably be my rugosus, and then after that, I think the occidentalis and the maricopa are pretty close together. Maybe the maricopa a bit smaller, but my maricopa colony is still kind of more in the founding stage. So the workers may get a little larger. But even the behavior. So I read someplace, I believe it was an individual or company online selling ant queens slash colonies, and they were talking about the Pogonomyrmex maricopa. Now they suggested the Pogonomyrmex maricopa were 50-50 in regards to seeds and other sources of proteins, so mainly like insects and other scavenging type things to eat. I don't necessarily agree, even at this stage, about 50-50, but I will say, if someone told me it was 70% seeds and 30% other protein, I would tend to agree. Because every time I offer them freshly killed flightless fruit flies, as soon as I put it in the outworld, I mean moments later, I got workers coming out from the nest, grabbing everything. Seeds, yes, they brought down a good amount of seeds, but when I received my Pogonomyrmex rugosus colony, they behaved differently. They took a lot more seeds down below than my maricopa. Also, I noticed is that my maricopa, they don't go in the outworld very often. They like to stay in the nest. Versus my other colonies, they usually, especially my rugosus. My rugosus, probably out of all the species so far, I think, if it's hard to say because I'd have to go back and look at old footage of my occidentalis and barbatus, but they seem to be just very active in the outworld. Of course, my barbatus and occidentalis are both active in the outworld, but even they're different. So you take a look at here. Now it's late at night. My apartment's a little cooler. They always tend to have some workers moving. And during the day when it gets warmer, like almost all of them are moving. They're doing something. Even if they're just, I don't know, walking around. I go over to my occidentalis, and there's a lot of workers. I mean, look, they just sit there. And don't be wrong. When they're disturbed, fresh air hits them, a little rattle, boom, they're on the go. Offer them food, boom, they're on it. But it's just very different. Also, growth rates. So a common belief, and I believe it is accurate when you look at ants as a whole. The larger the ant, usually the slower the growth rate. That basically what that means is from the time the queen lays the egg to the point where it becomes a full-grown adult, it's typically the larger the ant, the slower that process. But my occidentalis, I swear, I mean, I don't have any scientific evidence or anything like that. Just looking in and just observing them from time to time, like a general feeling or observation of mine, is that even though the Barbados are much larger, I can swear that between the time the queen lays the eggs and they become larvae, then they become a pupae, and all that, it's quicker. I don't know. They're both offered food. I would say equal amounts compared, when you compare to the size of the colonies. Yeah, I don't know. It's strange. My Rugussus, I mean, I don't know. I just got my Rugussus, but they are just, I mean, look at this. They are exploding. Of course, my Mimicus are exploding too, but it's amazing how there's subtle differences between these subspecies of Pogonomyrmex. Trying to think of anything else. Now, Mac mentioned the Maricopa, that from what he's seen or what he's spoken to others about, is that you'll see like a whole bunch of Barbados. Because I actually live in Maricopa County in Arizona. Let me backtrack a moment. And I do see harvester ants when I go out and actually look for them. What I mainly see is the Pogonomyrmex Barbados. That's mainly what I see. I don't really see too many Maricopa. And Mac pointed out that when he went out looking for ants, that he would see like several Barbados and like right in the middle, a little tiny colony of Maricopa just chilling amongst like this whole area with a bunch of Barbados colonies. And he noticed that the Maricopa tend not to have as many workers outside in comparison. And I'm like, well, that kind of fits what's going on in my little tiny like colony I have here. Now, of course, who knows? Maybe as the colony grows, their behavior will change, and I'll have to change my opinion. But that's what I have so far. It makes sense. And unlike, but I will say this. So, like my Rugussus, I mean, they always have workers in the outworld. But as soon as I would disturb the outworld, if they didn't, when they were in their mini hearth, they would send a bunch of workers, not just like a couple. But my Maricopa, the most I ever really see out at a time is about 2. And they have quite a few more workers available in the nest. So it's really interesting. And maybe that's why Maricopa apparently has like the worst, I don't know what the word is, sting or envenomation, whatever you want to call it, for in the insect world in regards to pain. Although, I don't know. What my opinion of the pain index is, each individual, there's so many factors that can affect, pain tolerance and, a person's actual physiology or whatever of their body. Maybe if they have thin blood, maybe it circulates more. I don't know. The point is, it's very subjective. But apparently Maricopa is pretty bad. But maybe that's because, they're not super aggressive in numbers. Perhaps that's why. Perhaps the Barbados are a bit larger for whatever reason. I don't know. It's very interesting. I'd like to get everyone's opinion about the harvester ants and see if any of my observations match your own. But I find it very interesting that, and this is really the only way you can really do it, is to have multiple different colonies, different subspecies, and compare them. So anyway, as always, feel free to leave a comment down below. Just be respectful. It is Brabs 9201, and take care, everyone.